Hey. Hi there. I um I wanted to talk about traffic today. As I drove in my county between two municipalities, I noticed a very disturbing pattern, which I recognized from South America, which is with traffic. And basically, that is the installing of cones everywhere so that you think there's a lot of traffic work going on to narrow your roads and to pave your city and to continually concrete or pave your city so that there's more legislation over your land. On my way to my children's dance class yesterday, there were there's a 2-lane road that goes 10 miles with about 10 stoplights. And on the reverse direction that I was going, that I was going in, there were cones and a guy standing with a orange flag in a triangle, and he just stood there holding the cards. So I watched. That was the first stoplight. So we have another like 9 to 10 miles. And I watched for about 6 miles of all the cars being shifted into one lane on a 2-lane road, and a portion of it, about a mile of an actual concrete barrier that separates one lane from the other. So you're forced to go into this. And then as I drove along and I got to the end of 5 to 6 miles, there were still cars at a dead stop because of this one guy holding up an orange flag. 4 white cars in front of him that were city, county contractors parked there. So I showed our daughters that. And then I said, on the way home, we're not taking this route. So we took another route home. So there's only like 4 main highways that go to this neighboring municipality that's bigger than ours. On the way home at 8:30 at night, we were at dead, put my car in park, stopped for construction on the other parallel road for I don't know what. And then today, on the third parallel road on my way home from Lakeland, we were also bombarded with what are called Bob's barricades, which mean orange cones. And I bet if you research, depending on the contract, how much is each cone, we are charged as county or city taxpayers for that cone to make our roads more narrower, to create more concrete and pavement. Because when you create more concrete and pavement and you accede or agree or abdicate your responsibility of your dollars going to 5 people who make decisions that don't have anything to do with, let's use the word efficiency and movement, because the goal is not that you move well. The goal is that you are stuck in traffic, and then you'll go to the paid parkway or speedway or circumference type highway that has been developed in your area. I have seen this now in France. I have seen this in Colombia, and I have seen this in United States in various cities, and you have too. And this is what they do to continue to build their mafia. They continue to make road and any kind of projects that are public fake scaffolding, fake bullshit, because no one goes to the meetings. No one goes. I went to the meeting a month ago. I just reviewed what I said, and I'm proud of it. And I stated that it doesn't make sense that if you would like people to really understand what's going on in the county, you would make advertising efforts that would go on Facebook or YouTube or these main platforms that digitally are utilized to spread information. But no, they made their own little channel, And by the way, it's in Spanish and English. When we don't have that, we now have a more Spanish population because they shipped them in. Because the idea, people, is to bring these, think that they have a great life in these big cities with government subsidies, which are your taxes being paid to destroy you and to destroy the city by creating institutions and more contracts to continually spend money that goes in the pockets of contractors. I was one. Okay. I worked for one of the biggest contractors of the US government under USAID, which is the United States Agency for International Development. I worked there under Obama, and I didn't know what we were doing was so evil because I was very satisfied with my ego and I was very comfortable. And that's how most of us are. I also decided to have my children in a hospital when my father, an OBGYN of over 30 years in the United States and in Colombia, advised me not to have my children in a hospital, but I was too arrogant and I was too full of myself and I was too interested in knowing how much I paid into the healthcare system was going to give me a nice ride on my pregnancies. How fucked up is that, right? How fucked up is that? That I didn't even believe my father. I didn't believe my father. So he's dead now. He died in 2021, and I am certain that he was killed by allopathic. I'd like you to look up that word, allopathic, if you don't know what that means, which is essentially treatments in hospitals to harm or kill us iatrogenetically and through their treatments that were created by the Rockefeller healthcare system that was designed to depopulate. And if you haven't gotten that message, I'm very sorry, but I am very concerned about the future, and you should be too, because our health director is a person who is not sincere. And you can look at my other posts on Facebook, you can look at my posts here on YouTube, and you can get an idea of who this gentleman is. It's really important that we start speaking face to people at your gas station, wherever you wander, in your job, in whatever, your family, whatever you can, just throw out what you can, ideally face to face in person, so they can judge you and you can say it with your vibrations from your body in expressing the truth that you know. Now, if you don't know it, don't say it. But if you know it and you want to challenge people, you need to do that. Hello, how are you? I'm doing it live. I'm going to see if...
On the chemtrail barometric pressure
yes.
issue, I have a sick horse. Possibly.
Yes, so my friend just arrived who takes care of the horses at my mother's farm, and she is stating that the chemtrails that were heavy duty, okay, you can call it barometric pressure, my dear friend Jillian, but I'm going to call it metals in the air. Okay, and we know a lot of people in the homeschooling community that are going through a lot of flu symptoms and other sickness symptoms because of what was sprayed in the air that you are breathing. You are breathing. And I have pictures. I had my daughters take pictures yesterday while I was riding a horse. It's real. And the only way these things change is if we start speaking up and talking. Hi, Tony. I'm so happy you're here. It's good to see you. Thank you so much. It's so important. Yeah, it's never ending government contracts. It never ends. And our infrastructure is not even up to par. Exactly, because our infrastructure is not constructed by materials that will last for centuries. And we can observe that by looking at architecture around the world that shows that these buildings are continually surviving and doing very well and thriving without any maintenance from anyone. And I would encourage you, anyone, I know Tony's already on to this, but you look into the concept of Tartaria. It may not have been Tartaria, whatever it was. Somebody constructed these old cathedrals and somebody constructed these old buildings. So I just want you to consider looking into what you were taught in public schools. I went to public schools I went to public schools in a county called POLK, POLK, which I was informed about a month ago means people of little knowledge. POLK, POLK, people of little knowledge. How great is that, huh? And that's where I grew up. So I've been that person, and I am fighting that because we have children, and the only future is children, and they grow up really fast. And if we don't start teaching them to seek, speak, and live truth and question everything they're taught, we have a more difficult future than we already have. So I just wanted to express that. I'm going to have a drink here on my porch with my dear friend. We're going to talk horses. We're going to talk cats. Oh my gosh. What I know about cats now is incredible. And I think that I know I was the first one to criticize cat people, but I'm going to call them castrated cat people, because when you watch cats in the natural, in nature and in the real environment, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. Shout out to Dr. Tom Cowan, who has recently acquired cats in the last few years, and to anyone. But do your best not to vaccinate or not to, excuse me, this is for entertainment purposes, not to inject, but I'm just, talking entertainment purposes, not to castrate animals nor microchip them, because you're putting metals essentially into animals and into the people around you that you love. I'm going to read the comments now. Thank you, Tony, for being here. Hello, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Hi, Cheryl.
I don't want to interrupt, but
Yes, go ahead.
Off?
Oh,
Turn it off.
Perfect. I have fish in the oven, and I made some delicious sourdough bread with the bacon flavoring of the bacon beef that is grass fed. All right. So, folks, I know it's hard and I know it's expensive, and I don't mean to be condescending by using the word folks, but here's the thing. We have to get serious about what we're ingesting. And I would ask you, if you're watching me right now, or if whenever, to add non-iodized sea salt to whatever you're drinking or consuming right now, because that, I think, and it may be crazy, but if it's wrong, I'm living it and I feel very good. And I don't know what else to tell you. You can check out my videos. You can look what I've been posting. I posted things that I posted since 2020. You can see my journey of many things I was wrong on. But as I continue to research and talk to friends and people who have lived real life, I've learned that some of these ideas are coming to clarity. And if you look into natural law and recognize that we cannot trust these systems that teach us numeric, alphanumeric symbols, I'm going to spell with SIMBAAL, which is the word used for Satan, the demon, Moloch, the snake. Okay. And I didn't know this stuff till 4 years ago when I started getting hard into the Bible. I'm still reading the Bible. I find new things every day in the Bible. I concentrate on Yesu's words. I use the word Yesu because that's his name in Greek. I don't know if Greek was a construct. Might be, but I'm going to go with that because it's an older construct than freaking Hebrew. And you can watch my video on Hebrew is Greek, which was written by a polyglot Israeli Jewish, very wonderful man named Joseph Yehuda. And you can look up his stuff that was banned immediately when he published a book that was 700 and something or close to 800 pages. I can't remember. I think 740 by Joseph Yehuda. And read the introduction. I was able to download it and print it. It's complicated, but essentially it states that Hebrew may be Greek, and it was written much more recently than you think, unfortunately. Or perhaps it's a collection of books with wonderful, great wisdom from different ethnic minorities in different areas of the world that all of us end up being, which I end up being in my family. All of us end up being based on our belief systems. So when you get central on your belief system being about truth, it's really hard for people to come back at you once you know what truth is. All right, so children are good. And I just wanted to get that out because it's been a couple of days of a lot of chemical trails in my town. And I have children and I have a nascent food forests that I'm growing, and I have animals that I love. And I think it's very important that we start really talking frankly about what's going on with metal poisoning in our land, air, and water. And LAW means law. And this is not coincidence. Okay? I'm a lot older than a lot of people, and I have learned there is not coincidence. Okay? When you get vibes and you get certain words coming at you and certain people coming at you with certain things and they open up your mind, these are not coincidences. These are things that God, nature, ether, the salt wants you to know, because you are an electrical being. And everything that you express is a way to get energy into the atmosphere, or whatever you want to call it, to get into the realm. And we are wonderful, powerful energy emitters with information. And the only thing that makes us different from animals is the ability to use our tongue and to use our words articulately and to know what the meaning of the words are, because they're controlling us with the words, and they're controlling us with definitions, and they're controlling us with fake science, fake history, fake everything. So thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm really grateful for Cheryl. Hey, Sea Lightning, how are you? Oh, you got some red. Okay, I want to talk about red Himalayan salt. So saw your comment, saw Weiss and Falcon are together in Mexico. It's a big club and we're not in it. Totally. It was crazy to observe that. But anyway, each of them have brought me on their Weiss, have brought me to a great place. So I feel good about whatever I've learned from these people. And I'm glad that I went on the trip, because I'm grateful to them. But we got to know that when you're on the walk, you've got to be like karate man or woman and cut out the people that you see are acting in a way that aren't putting out the vibes that are in line with truth. So the red Himalayan, let me just say this quickly. The more I study salt, and I have black gray salt that I'm still using, but I'm inclining more towards sea salt, because the more I think about radioactivity, radioactive elements or chemicals, elements means basically anything abstract. How's that for a definition? So anything that is I believe that the sea salt is the purest, because God gave us the sea salt, and that's what I believe in. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I believe that. I believe that we're in a realm that is not a globe, and that 72% or some high percentage of the earth is actually salt water. And I believe that salt water is extremely powerful, and that we can have free energy. And then above that is, as we move up higher, that becomes the ether, and that's what helps planes fly. And what we should actually have is airships, which look like cruise ships, and we could have a really beautiful time moving around this gorgeous place. But you can also have a just great time where you are, and recognize that perhaps Himalaya salt is actually a radioactive element that was thrown into salt mines to neutralize it, and then they sell that shit. I think they might be selling Sea Lightning. They might be selling the red Himalaya salt and amethyst and sapphire and emeralds as radioactive chemicals that they have been depositing. That's why they're called mineral deposits, right? And then over time, they've told their families and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren where these mineral deposits are. And if you think about what happened in South Carolina, I was at a festival there. Some of you know what that festival in 2024. And we were hit by that hurricane or that weather event that might have been created. And that, okay. And there's, pick up the kitty. And those weather events are created so that they can get the mineral rights to be able to extract what they can utilize to sell to us as jewelry, Jeuelry, or food, unfortunately, to depopulate, to harm us, and to trick us with words. The words are spells. The words are spells. And the more that we make the determination that it is very important to look at the meanings and the etymology of words, the better life is going to get. And you start talking to people one-on-one, just one-on-one, maybe one-on-two, and expressing what you think, because there's nothing more important than the future. And the future are children that understand the importance of truth and understand the way that you're seeing the world. And I just think it's extremely important to start get real about this and like kick it into gear, because it's not slowing down. We know who our health secretary is. We know who our president is, who is now going to be a king. He already stated that there will be no voting in the next 4 years. So this is it, folks. And that's that. When we have the Old Testament to take a look at, which is all based on kings and realms and kingdoms and all that stuff, where we're all like, oh, okay, whatever you say. Okay, no, wait a minute. I'm a woman. I've lived a long time. I own land. I have given birth to children. I have my own life and my own experiences, and I got a lot to say about how I got here, and I feel damn good physically about myself, and I'm not on any medications, and I don't go to doctors, and I don't believe this is all for entertainment purposes. I don't think that it's really a great idea to consider the allopathic system at this point in time. And I'm putting myself out here. If you want to ask me any questions, I'm a new biology practitioner. I am very happy to give you any pieces of information that I've learned so that you can integrate that into what you're experiencing in your life and what's working for you. But people, it's time. This is it. All right. They're showing their colors. And those colors are blue for liberals, red for conservatives, which I was for a long time. And when you combine them together, they make purple. And guess what? Purple is not on the natural spectrum. Okay. And that was my favorite color as a little girl. Okay. In the 70s and 80s. So I know how hard this is. And I know it's painful. But the only way, from what I can garner, and I mean this in the most humble way possible, because I was a fucking stupid idiot. I was an international communications specialist for the deep state. I also have run my own businesses in New York City and in a capital city in South America. And I have done marketing, and I have taken courses. I'm an ISO 26,000 social accountability licensed professional. I have certifications in a lot of things. I studied my master's at Columbia. Poison Ivy League University. I've done a lot of bullshit that may look good on paper, maybe halfway to be a middle manager in the bullshit, but a willing puppet to this crap. And I want to share with you that I am very shameful, and this is why I speak out. And I hope you will speak out in your circles. I'm going to read the comments now. Oh yeah, Hurricane Helene. And Helene is my mother's middle name, by the way. Okay, I'll take a look at that link. Have you checked out my YouTube channel? I have stuff on there no flat earther has thought about. I know, Sea Lightning, you have opened my mind to so many things, and I want to share something with you, which you probably already know, that the moon moves vertically. And I witnessed that because 2 nights ago, the crescent moon was like this, right? And I visited my neighbor, and we looked over the lake, and it was yellow and low. And then last night, 2 nights later, it was high and white. And I think we need to start taking a lot. We need to pay much more attention to what our naked eye sees versus what the camera sees. And I know the camera helps a lot, but I'm hugely skeptical of the camera based on the fact that fluoride tubes are what create television, and fluoride comes from phosphates, and phosphates comes from phosphorus. And if you look at the etymology of phosphorus, that comes from Lucifer, which comes from Lightbringer. And all of this goes back to about the 1500s. And I'm studying alchemy and chemistry and biology and cosmology and a lot of things at once in a very leisurely, beautiful way, so that I'm not like propagating some kind of fucking agenda. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I hope you'll do what you can do with maybe some of the books I'm reading and maybe your own life experience and your own observation, because at the end of the day, there is no future if there are not young ones seeing the land, knowing how to work the land, knowing how to rebuild soil. Our soil has been destroyed on purpose along with the paving of it. Okay? So these two things are really important to like put together to understand how we can get out of this. And I strongly believe we can get out of this. And here are my three. Oh, that's awful, sea lightning. I just saw that. And I don't want you to throw away the Himalaya salt, okay? Throw the salt into your yard, Cheryl. Throw it into your yard and because that's going to help the yard in some way, because the chemicals or quote unquote minerals that are sold to people to grow the things in their yard or grow their grass are derivations of alchemical processes that have an inclusion of salt being destroyed in some level. So even if you have a Himalaya salt, it's probably going to be better because it at least tastes like salt and acts like salt in many good ways. I use it and used it. Throw it in your yard. Put it somewhere. Use it for cleaning. Use it. Don't waste it. Okay? Don't throw it out because it's step by step. It's gradual. And that's the path I'm on. It's been 5 years. You can look at my Facebook, Victoria Salt, Victoria Salt. And you can see I just found posts I put in 2020 and how I was on my way, but I wasn't completely right. But at least it brought me to where I am now. And that's 5 years ago. I can't believe how much it's flown. But that's because of children, because you see it, right? And we need to, I believe, with great humility and love. And I mean this with love. I speak with passion because I love children and I love people. I love old people. I love young people. I would like to live at the minimum 150 years. I believe Yesu's words of eternal life, and there's a lot to research on that. But there's a reason why these words are replicated in print, and a lot can be shrouded through the translations by complicating the meanings. And I've noticed it just in the last 5 years. Okay. So of how words are changed, and you have too, I'm sure, because if you're even watching this, you know that. And we know that about the shape of the earth and the cosmology. We know that you cannot look at the sky to know the shape of the ground. So you're not going to look upwards to know what the shape of the ground was. You look at the ground and you see if you see a curve, and you recognize what patterns you see in your eyes when you look at, as you drive across this beautiful country of the United States, or if you fly and you see the land below you. Okay. So there's no curvature. And I think as we focus on that absolute fact, and I think, emergency flight landings are another way to prove that. Get into the law of curvature, understand what that means. Just take like 3 minutes. You'll get it if you're over 20 years old, if you really want to know. And just make a decision to commit yourself to prove to truth if that's something appealing to you. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful night wherever you are. Venus is a bright star in the west after sunset. We were taught in grade 4 Venus has an inside orbit. We were taught wrong, as Venus is seen for 3 hours in the darkness. I need to learn all of that. I want to learn all of that. What's that, baby? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much, Sea Lightning, Tony, and Cheryl. God bless the three of you. And please comment and let's stay in touch. And check out, please, my new Rumble channel if I get it up. If you're on Rumble, please subscribe. I don't think I can go live there unless you subscribe to me and unless I have 5 people on the channel. So thank you so much and have a great night. And I look forward to your interaction. And God bless you. And God is good. It's natural law. Look at John 1:1. Truth. Truth is God.
I peeked out.